Everyone is guilty of taking everyday, common things for granted as we are just simply used to them. This includes abilities such as breathing normally, being able to see a loved one's face, walking, and the list goes on. For example, in the United States, around 100,000 people are deaf. While there are varying levels of being hearing impaired, it always comes with its challenges. On the bright side, many technological advancements have been made to help people who are hard of hearing. Hearing aids have been around for years, but today, we have devices that can give the gift of sound to even the most extreme cases of deafness. Videos have been filling the internet from all over the world sharing the moment someone hears their first words. These videos are overwhelmingly heartwarming to say the least. One of these incredible videos belongs to the story of Sarah Sherman, a married mother of 2 little girls. Sarah's husband had heard about a new device, the eSteam, that could possibly cure her deafness. It is mind-blowing to actually understand how these devices work. While there are many different devices out there, this one in particular is what Sherman used. ESteamHearing.com explains that nerve-related, sensorineural, hearing loss is the most common type of hearing loss. It is caused when the tiny hair cells inside the cochlea are damaged or degraded, and don't transmit sound impulses to the brain as effectively. They also explain how the device actually works, saying that it works with your ear's anatomy to let sound in the way nature intended. There are no microphones to distort conversations or amplify wind, and there is nothing in your ear canal to block sound's natural path. Instead, the device's 3 components work together with your ear to deliver eSteam's natural hearing. Sarah's story touched the hearts of people around the world for numerous reasons. With constant battles during her journey, she pushed through and finally found peace. The most interesting parts of her story lies beneath the surface as she was constantly presented with life-changing curveballs. When this family heard what her mother-in-law had done, it left the world shocked. No one could have imagined how her story turned out. Sarah Sherman has been deaf her entire life. When she was born, the doctors informed her parents that she had DNA that prevented the hairs in the middle of her ears from forming. This has understandably made Sarah's life more challenging than the average person's. Because of this, she never would have expected the miracle that came her way. Although Sarah had her struggles being deaf, she always lived a fairly normal life. Sarah is married to a wonderful man and they have 2 beautiful children. Sarah is extremely close to her in-laws and they rave about what an amazing daughter-in-law she is. No one could have expected what Sarah's mother-in-law did when she got her hearing back. One day, Sarah's husband had heard about a device that a lot of deaf people have been finding success with. As there are different reasons for being born deaf or becoming deaf later in life, this device does not cure every case. Sarah made the decision to give it a go. Little did she know this visit would change her life. After Sarah had lived 29 years in silence, she was extremely eager and nervous to try this new device. Like anyone else, she didn't want to get her hopes up. However, in cases like this, it's hard not to. As she sat across the table from her hearing doctor, she was filled with overwhelming emotions. When her doctor placed the hearing device in Sarah's ear, they waited to see results. With Sarah's husband recording the experience, the world eventually got to share this incredible moment. "There you go," the doctor said, completing the adjustment process. What came next left everyone in tears. Sarah's doctor waited a second and then proceeded to ask, "Now, technically, your device is on. Can you tell?" The doctor immediately knew Sarah's answer without her saying a word. After the doctor spoke, Sarah's face immediately lit up. This moment was nothing short of amazing and touched the hearts of everyone watching the video. Sarah still had no idea what was in store for her. Sarah could not believe that she was actually hearing her doctor speak. When she heard her first words, she immediately started laughing, followed by a deep silence. This is when Sarah broke down in tears because of the overwhelming emotions that came with this experience. "I don't want to hear myself cry," she said. Sarah had tried many other hearing devices in the past, but the previous ones left her with uncomfortable feedback and screeching noises. It got to the point where she had lost hope and had come to terms with her permanent deafness. Sarah decided that she would rather be totally deaf than use a hearing aid and have to deal with the awful noises that came along with it. She states that it was just too uncomfortable and painful to handle. However, Sarah's perspective changed when she and her husband had kids. Once Sarah's kids started growing, she felt more passionate about finding a solution. She could see and touch her children, but she really wanted to be able to hear them. Unfortunately, shortly after Sarah thought that she found her miracle cure, she realized that just might not be the case. When Sarah received a follow-up call from her doctor regarding the hearing device, she was extremely disappointed. They told her that her insurance did not cover the device and it would be $30,000 to receive it. Sarah and her family were absolutely devastated as there was no way that they could afford such a pricey item. Through the heartbreak, Sarah's mother-in-law created hope. When she heard the devastating news, she came to the rescue. Without any hesitation, Sarah's mother-in-law generously used her retirement fund to pay for Sarah's hearing device. While this was incredible news, Sarah had plenty more coming her way. Sarah's mother-in-law stated that she is by no means wealthy. She simply had the extra money after she retired, and she wouldn't have wanted to spend it any other way. This was a pure act of love and generosity, and when the word got out, this story blew up. Sarah and her husband were so ecstatic about this news, they decided to share the video of their doctor's visit with the world. They wanted to publicly thank Sarah's mother-in-law as well as spread awareness about this new technology. No one could have ever expected what happened next. Their video went viral, hitting over 26 million views. People around the world were so overwhelmingly touched by this 90-second video, it was shared continuously. One special viewer in particular was exceptionally touched by the video. This viewer was TV star and comedian, Ellen DeGeneres. This changed their lives forever. Ellen invited Sarah and her family onto her show and interviewed them about their experience. When she questioned Sarah's mother-in-law, it was stated that the money she gave them was not a loan, it was a gift, and she refused to let them pay her back. This is when things got interesting. Ellen DeGeneres is known for her extremely generous charity for people in need. On this segment, Ellen surprised the family with a $30,000 check to pay Sarah's mother-in-law back for the hearing device. Incredibly, her generosity did not end there. Ellen had another surprise up her sleeve for the family. Although Sarah had been lucky enough to get this hearing device, the $30,000 only covered one device for one of her ears. While this is still incredibly helpful, she wouldn't be able to have full hearing without two of them. Ellen surprised the family with an additional check for $30,000 to be able to purchase a second device. This story touched the hearts of so many people around the world, and we can only hope to hear more like it. Sarah and her family are said to be exceptional people, making this story that much more heartwarming. If you enjoyed this story, wait for our next story starting in 10 seconds. "4 years after this boy was born without limbs, he achieved a feat that was moving beyond words. Camden Whiddon was born without arms or legs, but the 4-year-old did have plenty of determination. And with the cheers of his family ringing out all around him, he accomplished something that might have seemed impossible, until it actually happened. 18-year-old Texas resident Katie Whiddon found out that she was having a baby, and 18 weeks into her pregnancy, her doctor scanned her belly. The ultrasound revealed that her baby-to-be didn't have arms or legs. The doctor said that Katie's unborn son had amelia, a condition that leaves a developing embryo without the usual number of limbs. As for Camden, he had tetraamelia, which meant he had lost all 4. In most cases, tetraamelia is passed on by 2 parents who have the recessive gene who don't have any outward indications that they're carrying it. Katie was understandably shaken by the diagnosis. "When I first found out he wouldn't have arms or legs, I thought that he would just be a vegetable. I didn't know what to expect," the soon-to-be mother of 4 told People magazine. On top of that, Katie worried that she wouldn't be able to care for her baby. She was only a teenager herself, after all. "I had just turned 19, and I didn't know, am I going to be able to be good enough for him?" she admitted. But her fears quickly subsided after Camden's birth, as he showed his determination early on. "When he was around 2 months old, I had him laying on my bed," Katie recalled. "I saw him out of the corner of my eye, and he was hitting the toys with his arms." That would be the beginning of her son's many milestones, which would often elicit the same reaction from his doting mom. Remembering that time when she'd first seen him play, for instance, Katie said, "I started to cry. I was just so happy, and that confirmed that he was going to be able to do things." From there, Camden continued showing his mom what he could do. The baby not only learned to lift his head but also rolled over and tossed toys too. After that, Katie knew that her son was a force to be reckoned with. "He's shown me how I don't need to doubt him," she said. And by the time that Camden was 4, he was ready to wow his entire family once again. He sat on the floor in front of Cole Green, his mom's fiancé and the man he called Daddy. Katie, 23, filmed a video she later put on Facebook as Green says, "There you go. Come here, come on. "You're doing it," Green says. And then he continues, "You're sitting up all by yourself. You're not falling." But it turned out that he isn't motivating Camden to prop himself up. Green is trying to get the 4-year-old to take his first steps. Green has his arms extended towards Camden as he encourages the young boy to move forward. "You're almost here," Green says. Meanwhile, Katie can barely contain her excitement from behind the camera. "Camden, I'm so proud of you, buddy," she says. With his family rallying behind him, Camden then takes his first steps. "I'm walking," he exclaims. Green replied, You are walking, buddy." As Camden inches closer to her fiancé, Katie informs them both that she is seriously crying. Then Camden's younger sister, Riley, comes to join the celebrations. She sits down next to her big brother and watches as he makes it all the way to Green. "Now, fall to me," Green says, catching Camden as the youngster leans toward the finish line. With that, everyone in the room celebrates. Riley jumps up and down as she shouts, "Yay!" Katie tells her son that she is so proud of him. And Green scoops the 4-year-old into his arms, saying delightedly, "That's my boy." As for Camden, all he wanted to do was see the video his mom had made of him walking, and it seemed the rest of the world did too. Katie shared the clip to her Facebook page, where it quickly went viral. In 10 months, it racked up more than 500,000 views. Receiving such attention wasn't an entirely unique experience for the Whittons, though. For one thing, Katie regularly posted images of Camden online. She used social media to share his condition with the world. Moreover, another video she posted to Facebook proved even more popular than the one of her son walking. In September 2017, Katie shared a clip of Camden and Riley having fun together in a playground. That video garnered 223,000 shares, 10,000 comments and a whopping 15 million views. What's more, someone very special reposted it onto her Facebook page as well. "Way to go, Camden. Sending you lots of love," wrote talk show host Ellen DeGeneres, who linked to the clip. And the top comment on DeGeneres' repost came from Katie herself, who replied, "Thank you so much for sharing this video of my babies and helping us spread awareness for the limb-different community." To that end, Katie told people that she imagined that her son, too, would spend his life raising awareness and goodwill towards his community. "Call it mother's intuition, but I feel like he's going to be one of those motivational speakers," she said. Regardless of what his future would hold, it was clear Camden had already changed one person's life, his mom's. "I never knew how much I needed a little boy without arms or legs until I looked at Camden for the first time," Katie wrote in an Instagram post. "He changed me into the person I am today and I am so thankful."